reality comes. Shades on. The reality comes. Shades on. Knowledge, wisdom.
Well, hello. Oh my goodness, you all, I have got a show for you all today. I've been asked so many times, why are you still fighting for your son? You all will not believe how many times I've been approached by people saying different things like, you want your son to get off and they convicted him, they did this, they did that. But when the evidence does not match and it does not undoubtedly prove you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, therefore you should fight for your rights. That is what human rights is. Let me give you and I did a little research today because I was going to have a whole different show, but of course something came on. And for those of you who don't know, who are just tuning in for the first time, I wear the sunglasses to start out because a lot of times we do not want to see the truth, but we will hear the truth, because there's two things I know about the truth. You're going to either hear it or you're going to see it, or you're going to do both. And I want y'all to hear the truth. If you don't see the truth, hear the truth. Because see, the public, the media, and everybody has a way of hiding things from, I won't say hiding, but maybe not doing coverage or not giving it the right attention that it deserves. For example, for those of you who don't know, my son has been gone for almost 5 years now. Now, when all of this first took place, you couldn't beat the media knocking down my front door, going to my son's house, bothering us to get the story. We go on there with them. Well, I do. I go on there and they run it. They're just so eager, so nice. So, I mean, it's just what that is. People will be kind to you to get what they want. And once they get what they want, and the reason why I'm saying this is because now I can't get a reporter to even look at me, even say hello to me. Like example, when we got ready to go to court, you can fact check all of this on my Facebook page. Just go all the way back to 2019 and you can see step by step how I've been, fighting for my human rights and my son's human rights. Because when you know your children and you know what life you put in them, they're not going to be perfect. And they may fall off a little here, there, but they're not going to fall completely all the way off most of the time without being addicted to some type of substance, or there's a mental problem somewhere. But for them to just fall all the way off, no, it doesn't normally work like that. And that's all I'm stating. I know my son. I'm not saying he's perfect, but I do know that according to what I have witnessed, I cannot believe the media will not continue to give coverage. So that was alarming to me. When I reached out to, Rebecca Lopez to cover the story, I reached out to Jacob Vaughn. I reached out to Scoop Jefferson. I reached out to Sean Rabb. I've reached out to every media outlet that was just about in my face when this story first broke. Dallas Uptown serial rapist. I reached out to everyone, 4, 5, 8, 11, 21, 27. Tell them, hey, look, the trial is about to start. The trial is about to start. No one wanted to cover it. I couldn't understand it. Why? You were beating my door down for the story, and now I want you to cover the story because, look, I am not one for keeping someone who has violated a woman in such a heinous way free walking the streets to continue to mess with other women, because I'm a woman. Yes, I am a mother. Yes, I love my child, but my child, if my child was doing something like that, y'all, I'm front and center in the courtroom waiting. Hey, look, this no, you cannot get away with this. You can't do this. This is why I was there, to ensure that justice is served, and that if he is innocent, he's proven innocent, or if he's guilty, proven guilty. Not just because of what somebody wants to say and you violate every human right possible. That's not the way we do it here. Not with me. Now, you all can do it any way you choose to do it, but not with me. So I'm reaching out to all these different outlets to get them to come and do the trial, do this, do that. No one wants to come. I didn't understand it. But once I got there, I began to understand it. And if you all don't understand why I continue to fight, some people want me to go somewhere and sit down. They want me to be quiet and just let it go on. Well, if that's how you want to do your business, that's fine. I have no problem with that. That's your choice, your free will. That's part of your human rights. Well, my human right is to fight for justice, what is right. That's why I'm so glad that this month is dedicated to human rights, December. And if you notice, in school, I don't even think that they do all of this stuff anymore. The Constitution isn't in the school anymore. I mean, we used to have to learn the Constitution. We used to have to know those bills. We used to have to know the Constitution. We just used to have to know so much stuff. Now, if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But let me tell you, my people perish for lack of knowledge. That's real talk. And people want to say, I believe in the Bible. People don't want to say that. People say that they, the Bible, some people don't believe in or whatever. But it is the only book that I've seen, that I've been able to witness come into fruition before it even happened. And I can assume, this is my assumption only, that the reason why that scripture is put there is for people who, like me, can see. Now, my people perish for lack of knowledge. Y'all, if we don't learn some stuff, if we don't learn the Constitution, y'all, I've had to learn the Constitution more so now than I can recall. Even as a child, when it was required, now it's not even really required anymore. It's taken out of the schools. At least from what I understand, from what I've heard. Now, I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that, but I believe I'm correct. The Constitution, learning the Constitution is no longer a requirement. I do not believe it's in the book anymore, in the history book anymore, I believe. But nonetheless, I've had to learn the Constitution dealing with my son. And once I started looking at what all went on with his case, I'm like, they are violating my rights. And y'all, let me give you the definition of human rights. Human rights are moral principles or norm for certain standards of human behavior and are regularly practiced in municipal and international law. Regularly practiced. Well, Dallas County, I don't know what law y'all practicing at this point in time. I don't know if it is, I don't know. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I'm floored. And I'm not one of those mothers that believe her children are perfect or what have you. If my children do something wrong, I'm the first one to tell you. Just like people wonder, how can I have my son's obituary hanging in the salon and be okay? Because for one, I love my baby, but when my baby didn't want to do what was right, what can I do? That's his human rights. I've raised him. He went off to do his own thing. So when you don't follow the guidance of the, what is the word? Good guidance, and you want to go off on your own and do things your way, then you have to be willing to accept the consequences. Although it hurts me to my core, but I couldn't get him to stop. I couldn't get him to stop hanging out with people that didn't value other people that didn't value their own themselves. So if they don't value themselves, they certainly can't value you. So that was his human right. I'm his mother. I tried to tell him the right way to go, but at the end of the day, his human rights. If those were his moral principles, although I didn't teach him those, that's what could I do? All I could do is ask God to help give me strength to get through whatever I was about to go through. Now, let me tell you some of the articles of the human rights. Article 1, right to equality. Y'all, I am 56 years old and we still fighting for this right here. Right to equality. And then we as people, as United States citizens, have the audacity to get mad at someone who comes from another country trying to take over the United States and are not a U.S. citizen. We have the audacity to be mad at them, but then look what we do to each other. We don't even treat Americans equally. Don't let us be a different shade. Let me take these sunglasses off. Don't let us be a different shade. If you are white and white people don't like the color of your skin, this darker skin, there's a problem. If you are of a darker skin and you don't like the color of a whiter skin, there's a problem. How can we get mad at another country, a foreigner, per se, if they come here treating any American any kind of way? We have the nerve to get mad. America and Americans, we should be ashamed of ourselves. We can't even come together. So why wouldn't we be in flux with foreign people from other countries? We can't come together to fight together as Americans. So guess what? Right to equality. What makes it equal? So that's why other foreign people who don't believe in getting U.S. citizenship feel like they can come over here and do what they want to do. They watching us do it. While those in America are putting people on the news, like my son, black men raping white women all over the news, American on American, you don't think that those people in those other countries are watching? They watching. If they will do it to their own that way, we can come over and do whatever we want to do. And is that not what they're doing? It's sad, y'all. We got to do something different. We gotta have equal rights. It just cannot go one way. It has to be the law is the law. Right is right. And let me tell you, I am so sick and tired of people spending 30 years in prison and they don't get out for 30 years. And then after 30 years, the person can come and say DNA will clear that person. And the person that made the accusation has went on for 30 years. And nothing has happened to them. That's not right. When we know that we have public officials sitting in these seats, whether it's the judge, the defense attorney, the court-appointed attorney, or the prosecutor, we know that they will overlook things to meet their numbers, and they have no type of recourse for them either. In this case, in the Dorothy Patterson case, appeal number 05-21-01024, you can look it up. You can clearly see that the prosecutor left out vital evidence that exonerates him, that clears him. It should have never even been a trial. And then you can clearly see that they charged this young man as a serial rapist. One person shows up to court. Where is the right to equality in that? Where is innocent until proven guilty? It's horrifying. Let me move on. Freedom from Article 2, freedom from discrimination. Now, we know, you can go back and look this up. In South Dallas, where a majority of African Americans live, there was a rapist out he had raped over 26 women. You can look it up. Over 26 women in an impoverished neighborhood. And you mean to tell me that they can go and not only find, arrest, and have a trial and everything when it's a white woman accusing a black man? But when it's black on black, you able to rape 26 women over a year's time and ain't nothing done about it? Y'all, that's not that's both of them. That's not, there's no equality in that. And it certainly looks like discrimination to me. I don't get it. And Americans, until we stop this kind of behavior, our country is going to forever be going downhill. Look at us. Where's our compassion for people now? We are becoming cold and callous because we know we're getting the attitude of, well, the law corrupt. They don't care. The judges ain't doing what they supposed to do. The prosecutors, they fake. The court-appointed attorney's going to railroad you. This has been going on too long. It don't make no sense. We got to do something different. Okay, Article 3, right to life, liberty, personal security. Now, y'all, this is the one that I want. I mean, I just want to understand this one. Okay, the right to life. Yes, we have a right to life. Okay, we have a right to liberty. I don't see no liberty in this judicial system at all at the point, and from where I'm standing as someone who's witnessed it from day one. But personal security, now I'm worried about all the women who believe that the Dallas Uptown serial rapist is in prison. They don't even know where the serial rapist is at, because guess what? The news won't cover it. I begged. I've went down there. I've called them personally. They won't cover the story. Why won't they cover it? Freedom of the press. Why won't they cover it? They covered it initially. So I'm not understanding why they won't cover it now. Somebody put something in the chat or something. Let me know if you're watching. Let me know what you think. Why won't they cover it? I let me just put these shades on. I don't know. Maybe I missed something. This is some dark truth that maybe I missed. I don't know. But they will not cover it. And do y'all think that if I thought for 1 minute, well, I know what to think now. But when it initially started, I knew what I believed, and as the case proceeded on, I knew what they were doing was dead wrong. It didn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. I'm sitting in the courtroom waiting on several people to come in to accuse my son. That accuse my son. Nobody shows up, and then the girl that gets on the stand, they kept using the word potentially, mixture. When you say you've been raped and you hadn't been with anybody, the word potentially and mixture should not even be in that. And then I'm sitting there and I'm waiting for the personal security in this lawyer that the state has given my son to give us comfort when it's time to cross-examine the accuser. He does absolutely nothing. Y'all, where are the human rights in all of this? I don't know. I just don't even know. Okay, Article 4, freedom from slavery. Y'all, I don't know what freedom from slavery looks like to anyone else. But I just don't, I mean, for those who are wrongfully incarcerated, whose sentences don't match the punishment doesn't match the crime, that is modern day slavery. It is. And it should not be that way. Now, if you put yourself in a position and you go out here and you commit a crime, then you obviously want to be treated in a way that they treat people who are deserving of harsher treatment than normal Americans. So if you go out there and you do something, you better understand the consequences of your choices. And a lot of times we don't. But for those that are sitting there innocently, y'all are slaves in today's time. That ain't right. Article 5, freedom from torture and degrading treatment. How could this be when someone is sitting behind some walls wrongfully? How could this be? Freedom from torture and degrading treatment. When y'all figure it out, let me know. You can email me, Dorothy the Reality Coach at Gmail, and let me know your response. If you figure it out, let me know. 6, right to recognition as a person before the law. When you don't question or cross-examine somebody and your only line of defense is consent and the woman saying she had a gun on her and you being the state-appointed attorney, you are supposed to recognize this person before the law. You are the attorney. You're supposed to at least get up and say, is this a human? Anything. Is this the man you believe assaulted you, raped you, whatever the word is? And nobody's saying she wasn't raped, but we want to make sure that this is the person that did it. Not one question was asked. Where do you do that at? How is that respecting someone's human rights? Y'all, I was sitting in the courtroom looking like, oh my God, did he just do that? Did he just say pass the witness? He did just that, y'all. Article 7, right to equality before the law. What does equality mean? And what does law mean? In this case, I can't say nothing about nobody else's case, but in this case, equality was not there and the law certainly was not applied. Well, it was applied unjustly and wrongfully. And if you don't believe it, you can read the whole case. Case number 05-21-01024. Y'all, I'm not doing this because I want my son to get out. I'm doing this because these systems got to obey the law. They gotta do the human rights. They got to abide by the law and make sure that people's human rights are not violated. That is the law. That is part of our Constitution. And I don't care if you're not part of the prison system. You are going to be a part of one of these systems. And I don't want you to go through it blindly. Understand your human rights. December is National Human Rights Month. Know your human rights. There are a total of 30. Know them. And there's a saying by Reggie Ruffin of Just Cause: know the law before the law knows you. Know these articles before you have to be trying to figure out which one applies to you. Know these articles before you have to figure out which one applies to you. That's it. Excuse me. Number 8, Right to remedy by competent tribunal. Tribunal. Right to remedy by competent tribunal. Competent. If you incompetent, why are you sitting up there? Why are you representing anyone? No, it's not right. And we must hold people accountable. What Kobe Warren did was incompetent and not right. And I know he knows better than what he did. Maybe he was having a bad day, but you can't have a bad day when you sitting there and you got someone's life rights, their human rights according to the law on the line. You can't just have a bad day. You can't do what you want to do. And I believe that these lawyers, these court-appointed attorneys, whoever does not do their due diligence, and we can prove it beyond reasonable doubt, there needs to be some type of consequence. Just taking people's lives and doing what you want to do with them just because you are part of a system. No, sir. No, ma'am. No one, including me. Period. That's not the way we do. We got to put value back on human life. We're not just numbers the way they're treating people, like a number. That makes no sense. Number 9, freedom from arbitrary arrest and exile. Well, let me make sure. Let me make sure I look up the word, because I don't want to tell you the wrong thing. And see, that's one thing about me. I will look up a word in a heartbeat because I want to make sure that my thinking is correct, and I don't want to speculate. So let me look up. Let me look up that word, arbitrary. I believe I know the word, but I just want to make sure. Did I spell it right? Yes, I did. Okay. It's an adjective. Based on random choice of person's whim rather than any reason or system, which means of a power or a ruling body, unrestrained and autocratic in use of authority. And let me give you the literal meaning. It's based on chance rather than being planned or based on reason. This is just what they did in this case with Dorothy Patterson. They based it on a chance other than reason. Because if you can sit here and do this in a court of law, I mean, y'all, you just got to read it. It's just terrible. I don't know what else to say other than, my God, are you really taking a chance rather than, I mean, if you planned it, you did some poor planning. And the reason it was based on is horrible. Whatever it is, if you could not convict this case, and y'all, I'm only talking about this case because I can't speak on nobody else's case. I can only speak on what I've witnessed. Horrible. Okay, number 10, right to a fair public hearing. Now, y'all, when I tell you, I went everywhere to every media outlet, the same ones that came to me. I wanted people to hear this hearing. I wanted to be fair. I wanted the public to know. I wanted women who are walking around Dallas to know what's going on. Would nobody know what happened with the Dallas uptown serial rapist if this mother wasn't out here fighting for her child's rights, human rights? Would nobody know? They swept it under the rug. And y'all, I got proof that it was swept under the rug. Don't think I don't, because I do. It's terrible. Select media is not a good thing for anybody. It needs to stop. Okay, number 11, right to be considered innocent until proven guilty. Where my shades go? There's some dark truth you may not want to see, but you sure getting ready to hear. Innocent and proven guilty. My son was guilty the minute he was put all over TV. They didn't even have his name right. Didn't even have his age right. Nothing about what they put on TV was right. Do you hear me? Nothing. It took them listening to a recorded phone call of me talking to my son, telling him, son, they got your age wrong. They got your name wrong. When they changed it. And if you don't believe me, I have the original reports. The description of notice now, if you go back and look now, you can't find the description that they gave in the beginning. You know why? Because it does not match who they have in prison. The description does not match. They took it down. But I have the original. 5'8" and a half, about 5'8" and a half, medium build, dark skin. Well, that certainly does not fit my son's description by no means. So go look it up. Look it up for yourself. That's all I'm saying. Okay, let me see what the next one is. Number 12, freedom from interference with privacy, family, home, and correspondence. Well, we haven't had any of that. But hey, I don't know exactly what that looks like. But if I figure it out, I'll let y'all know. Okay, number 13. Right to free movement in and out of the country. Well, that is a right that everybody has when you're a U.S. citizen. So for those who are out of the country and have loved ones that are out of the country and can't get back home, that is your right. You have the right to freely move in and out of this country according to the law, which is your right. So if you got a loved one that's stranded somewhere, tell them they got a right to move back and forth to the country. Number 14. Right to asylum in other countries from prosecution. Y'all, that means if you're an American in another country and they try to prosecute you, you're not underneath their law. You're a U.S. citizen. So I'm assuming that means somebody got to come see about you. Y'all learn these human rights. I don't know them verbatim. I'm learning them still. And there's 30 of them. So, ones that don't apply to me, I haven't really in-depthly studied, but that's shame on me. Don't let this be shame on you too. Y'all learn these human rights, learn the Constitution, because you don't want to find yourself in a mess trying to figure out the mess. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't want to be sitting where I'm at in a mess. Now I'm trying to figure out the mess. Where if I had known some of the stuff that I'm learning now, perhaps I would have been able to see some of the stuff coming at me and my child. So y'all, I'm only doing this so you all can understand your human rights. This is the month for human rights. Learn them, because y'all, it ain't going to get no better. It's only going to get worse. But the only way we can make it become better is if we learn to do better by learning our rights. Human rights and the Constitution, they're very important. And I know I sound like a broken record, but y'all, I didn't believe it. I didn't know how important they were until now I found myself needing to know. I don't want you to go through what I'm going through. Sure don't. It is hard to go upstream when the current is coming at you. But when you're going with the flow of the current, you can sail on. You can flow through. You can fight because there's really not a big fight because you're going with it. So learn this before you need to know. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Let's see. Number 14. Oh, number 15. Right to nationally and the freedom to change it. Right to nationality and the freedom to change it. Now, y'all know, now, wait a minute, now, y'all, hold on, now, number 15, I'm going to have to ask you, now, how am I going to change being black? What colors I'm going to be? Oh, maybe African, maybe, I don't know, no other African, Blackfoot Indian. I don't know. How can I change this? Well, maybe y'all, I'm going to have to study that one. Because if I can change being black in America, okay, y'all, I'm gonna try to say I won't be white. See how it worked for me. It don't work. I'm just clowning. Let me know. That's one I gotta figure out. I don't. Maybe that means, say for instance, like some people that are biracial, maybe they want to say maybe they're white and black and they want to claim more of their black side. I don't know. That's one that I must need to study too, y'all. It's Human Rights Month, y'all. I'm gonna learn some of this stuff and I want y'all to learn with me, okay? Okay, let's see. Number 16, right to marriage and family. Well, I guess that's why everybody's able to get married now. It doesn't matter. Marriage and family, whatever you consider yourself to be married to, I guess that's what that is. Let me look up the definition of marriage. Maybe that's what I need to do. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up, y'all, because I like to look up words. Because I'm just one of them kind of people. Let me see, marriage, M-A. Okay, the Oxford Dictionary saying the legally or formally recognized union of two people as partners in a personal relationship. However, in the Bible, a biblical sense of marriage is often defined as a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast his wife. They should become one flesh. Now, y'all can go whatever y'all want to go with. I'm going to go with the biblical. Because the definition, I did they change that? I kind of remember it being something else. Maybe the Oxford. Let me look up the Webster Dictionary. Let me see. Hold on. Okay. Okay, marriage. This is the Webster definition. Marriage, also called matrimony, wedlock, is culturally and often legally recognized union between people called spouses. It establishes rights and obligations between them, as well as between them and their children, if any, and between them and their in-laws. It is nearly a cultural universal, but the definition of marriage varies between cultures and religions and over time. Marriage becomes a social construct to adjudicate the conflicts of interest between consenting individuals and a transactional means to fulfill their needs. Typically, in an institution in which interpersonal relationships, usually sexual or acknowledged or sanctioned in some cultures, marriage is considered recommended or considered between to be before well, that's important. Well, it doesn't say, y'all. I guess it doesn't say, but it looks like it's men and women on here. But according to this, it doesn't say. Marriage becomes a social construct to adjudicate the conflicts of interest between consenting individuals. But here's the thing: establish rights and obligations between them as well as between them and their children. But then they put in parentheses, if any. Y'all, I'm gonna leave that alone because I believe marriage is between man and woman. But according to the world today, to each his own. I don't knock nobody for how they feel. I'm just saying what I feel. Okay? Hey, I can love you and not like what you do, but still love you. And you can love me and not like what I do. Just like some of y'all don't like the fact that I'm standing up for my son's human rights. And it's okay. That's why that's what makes you you and me. And I'm okay with it. That don't mean we gotta hate one another. That just means we have a difference of opinion. All right, let's see. Okay. Number 17, right to own property. Y'all can own some property. If you can afford it nowadays, honey, this property is so high, I don't know who can afford property. Okay, here's another one. Number 18, freedom of belief and religion. Y'all, you can believe what you want to believe. Like I said, I believe in the Bible. What you believe in may not be what I believe in, and I'm okay with that. Just can we treat each other kind? Can we be kind to one another? That's what's important. Can we have compassion for one another? Just because you don't believe what I believe, you think I'm going to just let you if I see you're hurting, you think I'm just going to let you hurt? That ain't the way I do it. Now, if somebody else do it that way, that's on them. That's not me. And I pray that it's not you. But these are our human rights. Number 19, freedom of opinion and information. Y'all, that's why I go by the reality code. This is one of my favorite ones, Article 19. Freedom of opinion and information. Y'all, we got a wealth of information out here now. The whole internet is full of information. What you don't understand, look it up. Don't take my word. Look it up. Because I will. And my opinions are strong, y'all. And I may not have all the information, but I got some. Y'all better know I will use what I got. Number 20, right of peaceful assembly and association. Y'all, now why do some people get mad? Now, if you part of the LB, y'all forgive me, I'm not trying to be funny, but I just can't remember all the letters. But if you're part of that community and you gathering with your people, who am I to bother you? If I cannot be kind, and if I can't be kind, I need to mind my own business. That's what you do. That's what you believe in. And it's okay. That's your life. I can't knock you for being who you are or who you profess to be or whatever you want to say, just like you can't knock me. But y'all, don't try to make people believe what you believe because you believe it. That's not what this human rights thing gives us the right to do. It gives us a right to have opinion, our own opinions, and our own information. And once you get that opinion and your own information, if you want to peacefully assembly and associate with those that believe what you believe, then that's fine. Don't be mad at people because they don't believe what you believe. It's all right. Go on about your business. Enjoy your day. And that's the problem we have. We got too much tension in between who believes like a Democratic, who believes like a Republican, who believes like a liberal. Why can't we just respect the fact that you believe what you believe? And let me tell you something about false doctrine, false beliefs, all that. They call in other words, to me, it's called a lie. One thing it will do, it will tell the truth on you. Don't worry. If your belief ain't right, you're gonna know. It's gonna let you know. So don't worry. So go on about your business. Leave people alone. Now, don't let people just disrespect you. Quit trying to disrespect other people because they don't believe like you believe. They don't have to. You respect the fact that they believe the way that they do, and they have to respect the fact that you believe the way you do. And guess what? That's where that peaceful assembly and association comes in. And then the freedom of opinion and information. That's where that comes in at. You can do that. It's not that difficult. Let people be who they be. And you mind your business and don't try to disrespect nobody for being who they think they are. It ain't you, so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. It is what it is. That don't make them a bad person. That just makes them have a different lifestyle, a different opinion from me. And guess what? That's their human rights. Human rights are very important. You got to learn them. Okay, number 21. Right to participate in government and in free elections. Y'all, you got a right to participate, which to me sounds like it means you got a right to vote. If you want to vote, vote. If you don't want to vote, don't. But you have a right to. And can't nobody stop you. As long as you got your voter's registration card and you've done everything that according to the law, so your human rights won't be violated. Now, don't go up there and you ain't got no voter's registration card and you're trying to do it with your license and your social security number. You got to get a voter registration card, people. You got to get something that says you have a right to vote. Because, people buy social security cards and driver's license all day, every day. But I don't think they can buy a voter's registration card. But y'all, don't quote me on that. I don't know, but I don't think they can. But just do what you're supposed to do to have the right to vote so you don't have to worry about your human rights being violated, okay? Right to Social Security. Now, if you don't, you got a right to Social Security, but if you haven't put anything in, what you going to get out? You ain't worked a day in your life, but yet you want Social Security. I believe you got to pay in something to get something out. So don't be expecting Social Security and saying they violating my human rights. Well, if you ain't paid nothing, you ain't got no right to nothing. If you ain't paid nothing, that part. Okay, now number 23, right to desirable work and join trade unions. Y'all, desirable work. Now, if you don't desire to work, ain't no work gonna be desirable. And if you don't desire to work and you can't find desirable work, then guess what? Your right to Social Security, you ain't gonna get no Social Security. I'm just letting you know, hey, don't get mad at me. These are your human rights. They plain as day. And then once you join a union, you can get protection. But you gotta desire to work though. You can't be not wanting to work now. I'm just saying, y'all now, okay. I'm just saying. Right to rest and leisure, number 24. Right to rest and leisure. That means if you working on a job, you got a right to get one day off. I'm sure that's what that means. That's what that mean to me. I need a day off because I got a right to one day at least. You can't work me 8 days a week. You violate my human rights. And then if I don't work, you want to try to fire me? I'm finna go get my human rights and read them to you and let you see what's going on. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm just saying. All right. Don't try to overwork people. Give them a day off. Unless they choose to volunteer. Now, if you volunteer to work 7 days a week, that's you. But you have a right to have at least one day off. I'm sure that's what that means. Okay, right to adequate living standard. What's an adequate living standard? What's adequate? If you don't work, you want to live in a house, but you don't work. Okay, they might need to break that one down to me. Maybe they talking about if you working or what your money can afford. I don't know. I'm gonna have to look Article 25, y'all. We're gonna have to do some research on that with human rights, okay? Because right to adequate living standard. Well, who set the standard? What is the standard? Mm-hmm. Y'all, I'm keeping these shades on because this is the truth. Y'all need to see, y'all may not want to see, but y'all gonna hear it. Woo! Right to education. Now, y'all, you know you got a right to be educated. Now, some of y'all don't want education, but hey, if you don't want it, you don't have to have it. But let me tell you what education really means. I want people to understand this because I get into it a lot of times about with people saying that I need to give me a degree. Well, let me tell you what education means. Let me see. What is the definition of education? Education, according to dictionary.com, it's a noun, the act or process of acquiring knowledge systematically during childhood and adolescence. So y'all, where do y'all get off thinking y'all just so educated because you got a degree? If you can acquire knowledge, you can consider yourself educated. Now, some of you have higher education. Maybe that's what you might need to say instead of saying, I'm educated. If you can acquire knowledge, you educated. Maybe you got higher education on a higher educated level. Okay, so let's understand what we're saying before we go to saying it, because you violate my human rights to call me uneducated when I can acquire knowledge. I'm reading these rights pretty good without a degree, so I'm educated too. I just don't have a piece of paper. I'm just saying. Okay, 27, right to participate in the cultural life of community. Y'all, here we go. People that live an alternate lifestyle in whichever way, if they are a biker club, they of the lesbian gay community, they a gang that ain't harming nobody, that's not breaking the law, they got a right. That's their right. And if they Indian and they want to go over there and smoke peace pipes or whatever, as long as they're not breaking the law, that is their right. That is their cultural life of community. They got a right to participate in. Don't get mad. Go find your culture and find you something to do. Okay? 28, right to social order and articulates this document. Right to social order that articulates this document. Y'all, am I articulating this right? If I'm not, y'all go back and read it for yourself, okay? And I'm gonna tell you where you can find it at, okay? So you can read it for yourself and do what you got to do with it and learn for yourself. And then, hit the reality coach up. Gmail, Dorothy, the reality coach at gmail.com. Let me know what you found out, and we can have a discussion about this human rights thing before December ends, because I want people to understand their human rights, because December is National Human Rights Month, okay? Number 29. Community duties essential to free and full development. Y'all, it's all of our responsibilities to make sure that our communities are fully developed. Okay? We used to do that. We used to be more neighborly. Now we're not. I don't know what's wrong with us now. It's just something that went on. I guess it's so much pressure in this world to be this, to be that. I mean, come on, y'all. If it takes you not having to be able to carry a Louis Vuitton purse, knowing that you barely paying your lights, put the purse down and figure out how to get out here and do something in the community. Maybe go cut your neighbor's yard. It'll help you get some more lights for the next month or something. I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm just saying, develop. Let's develop. It used to be where we used to have developed children. Now you don't even want nobody saying nothing to your kid. So if your kid is about to fall and break their leg, do you not want me to say nothing to them then? You can't have it both ways. We got to do it right, y'all. These are our human rights. We got to get back to following the human rights and doing what's humanly right. Number 30, the last one. Freedom from state or personal interference in the above rights. Y'all know the state don't do nothing right. The state, sometimes when they want you, and they don't care how they get you. They do what they want to do. And we can't, and this is the purpose of human rights. This is the purpose of the Constitution. This is why I'm fighting for my son, because I know what they've done. They violated his constitutional rights as well as his human rights and treating him inhumane. Now, when you're wrong, but prove it to be wrong. Just don't make it be wrong because you got a personal vendetta or you want to do what you want to do to somebody. That's not how we roll. That's not how I roll. And that's not how you American people should roll. Know your rights. Understand the Constitution. Get these articles. Get these human rights articles. And y'all, you can find this information on Human Rights Resource Center. Human Rights Resource Center. There are 30 of them. I just went over all 30 of them because December is Human Rights Month. And y'all, next week we got Reverend Daniel Ayers coming on, telling about social justice, which will incorporate, I'm sure, these human rights and social justice rights. She'll explain to us what social justice means and why Friendship West Baptist Church is so strong on social justice. It's a show you don't want to miss. So you all, next week, y'all stay tuned. Please, please, please. We've talked about human rights, which involves a lot of social things. And next week, Reverend Daniel Ayers, pastor of the Social Justice Ministry for Friendship West Baptist Church, will be on for the first 30 minutes, explaining what social justice looks like for Friendship West and people in the Metroplex or other places, just so people can know what's going on and what that means to Friendship West. And we want to thank them in advance for all they do in the community as far as social justice goes, helping fight for human rights. I'm sure that falls underneath there, but she will give better explanation than I can next week on that, because y'all, I'm devoting this month, the Reality Coach is devoting this month to human rights. December is National Human Rights Month. Y'all know your rights. You got a right to know your rights. Y'all, again, thank you. And I hope you got something out of this. I know I did. Bye. Until next week, be blessed. Hey.
Here's what I found.
There she goes, there she goes. The reality leaving truth, knowledge, wisdom. Shades on. There she goes, there she goes. The reality leaving truth, knowledge, wisdom.